We'll call to order the Board of Zoning Appeals. If you'll please stand for the pledge. Veronica, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Gary Farley. Veronica Buchanan.
Here.
Jerry Sartain.
Here.
Joe Machado.
Here.
Michael Rather.
Here.
Zane Cantrell.
Present.
We have a quorum.
You have the minutes of our last meeting. Are there any changes or corrections in those minutes?
Move to be approved, Mr.
Have a
Chairman.
motion to be approved. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. They are approved. I'd like to recognize Michael Rather. Michael, this will be his last BZA meeting with us. Not necessarily last forever, but he's going on to a bigger and brighter meeting time with the Board of Commissioners. So we wish you well and thank you for your service to the BZA. It's been outstanding over the number of years that you've been here, and we all appreciate the hard work that you've done for the Board of Zoning Appeals and the citizens who come before us. Well thought out, Michael. Do you have any comments you'd like to make?
You know, I always have comments. I joined this board, I guess, in 2010, and there was a couple reasons why I joined. My grandfather and aunts and uncles have taught me to serve, not just in the home, but in your churches and in the community. And so I kind of wanted to carry that on, and I will tell you that last 8 years have been such a blessing and an honor to serve not just the county, to, in a way, I guess, represent planning and its endeavors, but the relationships that I've developed with each one of you and those that have been here before. I wish Jared Barrett was here. Those are very precious to me, those relationships, and I just want you to know that I appreciate the service you guys provide. Each one of you have taught me a lot, some bad things you've taught me and some good things you've taught me. No, I just happened to glance down at you. But it's been such an honor to serve on this board, and probably next time you see me, I'll be there instead of here. So thank each one of you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Michael. Outstanding job. Okay, let's go to our first, before we get into that, the Sharpsville Road auto repair has been withdrawn for any of you who may be here for that. It is withdrawn. If you don't want to stay, you so feel free to ease out if you want to. That has been withdrawn. The first item of business we have is a request by Daniel and Kelly Sellers, who is requesting a variance relief for a front yard requirement. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2018-22 involves the property located at 495 Green Meadow Lane in the Smyrna area. Mr. and Ms. Sellers are seeking request for variance relief to reduce the second front yard requirement for a corner lot to 15 feet for a property located in the RM zone. And this is a photo of the property. They're located at the corner of Green Meadow and Cardinal Court, and they would like to build an addition to their home to accommodate a growing family. It should be noted that back in 2013, when the Rutherford County zoning ordinance was adopted, we provided for the second front yard on corner lots to provide a reduced front yard setback for that second front yard. And in the case of this, they could replat the property and their request would be unnecessary. However, it's very expensive to hire a surveyor and to replat a property, go through the subdivision process, and they opted to appear before the board for variance relief so that they could move forward with their building addition. And the reason why they're appearing before you is the plat was recorded before 2013, and the front yard setbacks are always shown on the recorded plat, and both setbacks, front yards, were shown at 40 feet. And staff, when someone comes in and applies for a building permit for those lots that were previously platted, we have to respect the setback that's shown on the plat. So we did not receive any calls regarding this request, maybe one informational call, but no one indicated it being in favor or opposed to the request. This is the yard that would receive the reduction. The addition would extend the home out to 15 feet off of the Cardinal Road Court elevation. And these are photos of the surrounding area. And the home is located on the lot. That concludes staff's presentation.
Okay, the way we'll handle this, for those of you who may be your first time here, we'll ask those who are responsible for these requests to come forward, and then after that, we'll have a public hearing for any of you who'd like to speak on it. We'd like to keep those comments within the 3-minute timeline that we have, so we don't go on forever and ever. So make your points very specific. Now, who do we have representing this request? If you'll come forward, please, to the podium. Give us your name and any additional information you want to share about this request.
My name is Kelly Sellers. I'm a resident at 495 Green Meadow Lane. We currently have 4 children and one about to start college, and we need some extra space for some study rooms, some quiet areas. We'd like to keep them at home with us as long as possible. So just asking for that variance to kind of help us out. You know, it's not going to hinder anything in the eyesight. It's just going to help the neighborhood also increase the size of our house and the property value and everything like that. So just requesting that, please.
Any questions? Looks like you did a good job. Thank you. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing. Do we have a motion on it?
Move to be approved, Mr.
Have a
Chairman.
motion to be approved.
I'll second it.
Have a second. Call the roll, please.
Veronica Buchanan.
Yes.
Joe Machoto.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Michael Rather.
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes, it is approved. The next item we have is a request by Kim and John Hughes, who's requesting a variance relief for a front yard requirement. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2018-23 involves the property at 3003 Landview Drive. Mr. and Mrs. Hughes are seeking variance relief to reduce the front yard requirement for a corner lot to 30 feet and 16 feet for a property located in the RM zone. And we posted a sign on the property, and the applicant, and I'll flip through the pictures, sometimes it's easier to get to the end so I can explain the changes. The applicant would like to extend a garage addition to the front of their property, and it would extend into the front yard that is along Landview Drive. That extension would go up to 16 feet off of the property line along Landview Drive. They are also proposing to extend into the Peters Court side yard or second front yard to 30 feet. So that would be a 10-foot variance relief. And this would make way for a pool to be placed in the current driveway of the property. So these are photos of the surrounding area. We have received phone calls and informational calls. There were some concerns about the proposed request. And this is the yard that you would see the extension extending into, and this driveway would then become the pool area. There are two factors that do influence the location of the pool area. There was some right-of-way that was acquired for the Veterans Parkway that reduced the lot area. And the steps tank that was shown to be located along Landview Drive is actually located along Peters Court. So the step tank was not located in accordance with what the plat showed. And so the applicant was limited in areas that they could place the pool addition and still be able to have a garage. So these are surrounding areas. This is the home that's directly across Peters Court. And just another view of the front yard. So you would have the extension that extends to about this point here in front of the existing home. And then the pool would be here. Now, the applicant has supplied us with some documentation and signatures. They have approached some of their neighbors, and several of their neighbors did indicate that they were in favor of the request, and that was included in your agenda packets. And just additional photos. So the applicant provided us with a site plan showing the location of the new garage, the pool, where the pool would be installed. And that concludes our presentation.
Do we have anyone here representing this request? If you'll come around, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Kim Hughes.
John Hughes.
And then we live at the property 3003 Landview Drive. And thank you for leaving that up there. It's able to explain it a little better. If you'll look at the bottom line there, that's how small our backyard actually is. So there's really nowhere to go for us. And we've been in that home now 12 years. Our kids are getting a little bit older. We'd like to have some outdoor space to be able to just enjoy our family time together. And the side yard closest to Veterans Parkway is not really a great option for us because honestly the cars fly down that road now, and that makes me very uncomfortable to have like an actual family area right there. And then we can't go to the side yard. We actually had a representative from the water company come out and look at that space, and they flagged everything off and said you cannot build so close to this, you can build so close to that. And they were actually one of the ones that suggested, would it be possible to do what we're trying to do in the driveway area? So that's sort of where we started this whole idea of trying to make our backyard, actually our side yard will have to be our backyard. We just really don't have anywhere else to go. And to keep it short, I'm sorry, but originally, like Miss Danielle pointed out, the septic was supposed to be put in the front yard, but for some reason it was actually put in that side yard. Had they not done that, we could have put the pool over in that grassy area, and we could have had a nice space to have living space outside. So we're just really limited, and we don't know what else to do with it. So, did you want to add
Have some
anything?
questions here, Jerry.
Where is your alternate site for your septic tank?
They're on a step system. They do not have to have a soil area, but the step easement is located in this grassy area that she was speaking about.
Below where the pool is?
Below that.
Did I understand, you talked about space, do I understand you don't own the lot behind you?
Well, we do actually own that lot behind us. We understand. We thought people would ask about that. We bought that lot as an investment property. If we were to put just a pool on that whole lot, that would limit the lot from ever being able to be built on. It would price us completely out of the neighborhood, and financially, we can't do that. We purchased that lot actually as an investment. It's not part of our residential lot, and we didn't have any intentions of making it that when we bought it. So,
You don't think that building toward the street will make your house stand out a lot further than all of your neighbors who have the 40-foot setback?
I'll be honest, sir, even if we built towards the street, we would also have to apply for a variance as well.
I'm
So,
asking you, not think that building toward the street like you're planning puts you out of line with all the other houses that are in that.
it will visually move the house up some, but the majority of our home is still back on the, designated setback size. And I did want to say, in your packet, the property at 102 Peters Court, they were not home at the time that we talked to our neighbors, because we are concerned about what our neighbors feel. But we did go back over and talk to Josh and his wife, and we actually have their signature as well on this document, that they said as well it shouldn't be any problem for anyone that's living immediately around us. Everyone was in favor of it. Nobody had any issues with it.
Any other questions? Have you made arrangements for security around the pool fence? And that?
Yes, sir. If in fact you approve it, everything will go through our architectural committee, and we've actually talked to our HOA vice president about that, and we would supply the proper fencing and everything needed. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on it. Close the public hearing. Do we have them?
I've read the application. Is there any way in this application this cannot be considered self-created?
No, it's definitely self-created.
Thank you.
Entertain a motion on it.
However, it is not the applicant's fault that the step tank was placed in the wrong location.
I'll move to approve it.
Have a motion be approved. Do we have a second?
The step tank is in this area here. And yes. Well, if it was not located here, then they would have been able to install the pool in this area. But they have to keep a certain amount of area free of any improvements, because it is an easement that CUD has to have access.
Let's get a second, then we can discuss this.
You answered my question. I'll second it.
Okay. Any further discussion now? Questions? Jerry, did it answer your? Okay. Any discussion? Okay. Call the roll, please.
Veronica Buchanan. Yes. Joe Machado.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Michael Rather.
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. It is approved. The next item is a request by Rebecca Brown, who is requesting a temporary special exemption for a seasonal attraction. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2018-24 is a request for a temporary special exception approval for the month of September through October, the end of September, for a seasonal attraction. It's a property located off of Canesville Pike in the RM zone. And Ms. Brown is applying to operate a corn maze during the weekends at the end of September through October. And apparently there was a corn maze operated at this site prior to my arrival here in 2009. And she would like to reestablish the corn maze this year. We have received several informational calls on this request, and no one has indicated any opposition. However, I did receive a call with concerns about the lighting, and that the security lighting being turned off during the week and not left on after the attraction is over, because apparently it's very bright, and I'm assuming it is lighting that's illuminates the parking area for the corn maze attraction. And also, we had a concern about the cemetery that's located on site. Apparently, it was used as part of the attraction the last time it was operated as a corn maze, and they would just like that portion of the property to be untouched by the corn maze activities. Apart from that, that's the only calls that we received in addition to the informational calls. And these are the sites that are involved. It's multiple properties. This is the site that the corn maze will be located upon. The entry of the property is along these two parcels on Canesville Pike. They will have some concessions, activities, and a fire pit area located on this portion, and parking will be located towards Canesville Pike. And that concludes our presentation.
Do we have anyone here representing this request? If you'll come around, please.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Brown, and I live in Las Casas, Tennessee, and I'm wanting to put in a corn maze, kind of a place for families to come out and have fun and just enjoy their family time together. I know we had questions about the graveyard, and I had no intentions of putting any kind of decorations or anything up on the graveyard.
And there was some question about the lights after the program was over with.
Yes, sir. The lights will be turned on in the middle of September, or right before I open September 22nd if I get the
So
permit.
you've made arrangements to take care of that?
Yes, sir, and they will be turned off as soon as we close.
Okay. Any other questions?
Question, so you're turning them on and they stay on every night?
Yes, sir, we cannot turn them off during the week.
They don't go off at midnight whenever everybody's gone?
Not that I'm aware of.
That was the question, is why can they not be turned off each night when you're done?
It's a security light as far as I know. I don't think they can be turned off. We can just turn them on before they start, like September 22nd. That would be the start date. We'd have to turn it on then, and then turn it off once the corn maze
Are they
closes.
provided by the county?
Yes, sir.
I was under the impression there were other lights besides the security light. We understand the security light's on at night, but
Yes, sir.
Are there other lights besides that?
We only have one other light, and it's only turned on like if somebody gets lost in the maze after we close, but it faces to the back of the property. They wouldn't.
You all turn that off
Yes,
after
sir.
everybody leaves? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So can you verify your hours of operation? 'Cause
Yes.
You're saying that they're going to be turned off at 12 o'clock at night?
No, ma'am, those lights we cannot turn off or on during the week. It would just be a security light that would come on after dark.
Hours of operation are going to be what?
It'll open September 22nd and close November 3rd, and I would be open on Fridays and Saturday, Friday 3 to 10 and Saturday 10 to 10, and then Sunday would be appointment only.
So to clarify, the security light, Middle Tennessee Electric turns that on
Yes, sir.
when you start.
Yes, sir.
So it's not feasible for Middle Tennessee Electric to drive out there every day and turn it on, and every night and turn it off. So, okay, it's that type of security light that is on a Middle Tennessee Electric.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. If you'll come around to the podium.
I'm Kevin Marthaler. I live at 1152 Farmhouse Road in Las Casas, which would be one of the houses backed up to the property. Just some questions more so than maybe concerns is that if the corn maze is lit up only when someone maybe get lost or whatnot, Because, and the tree buffer will stay there, right? I mean, you're not doing anything with that, correct? So my concern was if there's anybody would have the temptation to come through the tree line and bother the neighborhood on the back side. So that was a concern with the floodlights. So the only lights that's going to light up the corn maze is if someone gets lost. The security lighting you're talking about is basically in the front where the parking is, correct? Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Public hearing. Come around, please. Commissioner, good to see you.
My name's Steve Pearson, 2841 East Jefferson Pike. Good evening, good to see y'all. I'm an old corn maze veteran, and Mr. Brown is also. We haven't had a corn maze in Las Casas for maybe 5 years, and we all have the lights that they're concerned about for the corn maze. Middle Tennessee Electric has been really good to everybody. They'll put them up. Of course, we have to buy the light, we have to pay for the electricity, and they come out, turn them on, they turn them off when we're done. We leave them on for security because it's about a $5,000 to $7,000 investment to cut a professional pattern out in a corn maze. It's a great investment. The graveyard, I'm sure they're going to leave that alone. That's the only concerns I've heard from anyone in my district, and I'm well in support of it. And far as over in Farmington, don't think the lights will ever get to you. I know the ball field lights do, probably are right smart, but these are directed in the parking area, and I think you'll really be okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. We have a motion on it.
I would like to make a motion to approve.
Have a motion be approved.
Second.
Have a second. Call the roll, please.
Veronica Buchanan. Yes. Joe Machado.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Michael Rather.
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes, it is approved. The next item we have is a request by Terry and Melanie Hackney, who is requesting a special exemption approval for rural retreat. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2018-25 involves the property at 1902 Smith Hall Road, and it's a request for special exception approval for the establishment of a rural retreat upon a property in the RL zone. And we posted a sign on the property. As you may recall, we considered this property as part of a request for an accessory before the principal earlier this year, and it was approved. That structure has been built. The applicant has met with staff members of planning, engineering, building, as well as fire rescue to discuss the possibilities of establishing a wedding venue on this property. It is their intent to do less than 30 events per year, and since the property exceeds 10 acres, they are allowed to ask for a special exception for the rural retreat use. If approved tonight, they would still have to go through a formal site plan review that would be approved by the Planning Commission, as well as demonstrate that they meet all of the building regulations and fire protection standards that we enforce. They are planning parking on the site. This is the structure that the events would take place. They included a floor plan, so they'll have bathrooms and a kitchen area. Smith Hall Road is a two-lane county road, and it's fairly wide, and there are only a couple residents or a couple property owners off of Smith Hall Road. We did not receive any phone calls regarding this request. And so any approval tonight, the applicants would still have to go through site plan review. It does not release them to go ahead and establish the use. There are more requirements to be met. And so this is the site plan. The driveway is the existing driveway that you saw in the pictures. They have parking areas established on the flat portions of the property. The barn that you see in the photos that has been constructed, an additional parking area, as well as their house, which is a future house site that they plan to build in the near future. That was one of the conditions of the accessory before the principal, that the main residence would be constructed within 2 years. And that concludes our presentation.
We have anyone here representing this request? If you'll come around, please.
Hi, I'm Terry Hagney. I live at 1902 Smith Hall Road. We're trying to put a wedding venue in. We live on it's a 1 mile dead-end road. The closest house is probably a half a mile to us. There's another lady that lives across the street. I've talked to her, and she doesn't have any problem with it. I've met with some of the neighbors and told them what I was doing since they seen that sign up, so they come up. And nobody's really had a problem with us. We're probably hoping to have maybe 2 events a month, so, 25, 30 in a year.
What kind of events?
Weddings.
Okay.
Well, maybe birthdays or, if somebody wants to do something like that. But that's about all.
Any other questions?
Do you have a timeline on your home being built?
I've already got the contractor, got the plans. We're waiting on our other house to sell, and that I could swap the loan over and go with that. So,
Still being part of this?
the house, yes.
I have one other question. You say anywhere from 250 to 300 people, but you're not going to have any employees. How are you going to handle that many people?
The event is we're renting the barn out, and then the people come in. We're going to have contracts. They sign their own. They're going to take care of the security and all that stuff like that. So as far as the employees, me, my wife, and my daughter.
What about, it says on here, sound amplification to be used. You're not going to have a lot of outside sound. Of course, you're way out in the middle of nowhere anyway, so.
Yeah, it's 150 acres surrounded by state property, so it's nobody else out there. But there is like speaker systems on the inside for like the preacher or whatever he's going to do.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on it. Close the public hearing. Do we have a motion on it?
I move to approve.
Have a motion to be approved.
Second.
Second. Call the roll, please.
Veronica Buchanan.
Yes.
Joe Machado.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Michael Rather.
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. It is approved. The next item we have is a request by Bobby and Connie Reeves, who is requesting exemption approval for a major home business. What do you have? And this is auto repair, as I understand.
Yes, sir. Application 2018-27 involves the property at 3962 Morgan Road. Mr. and Mrs. Reeves are seeking special exception approval for the establishment of a major home-based business involving an auto repair shop upon this property located in the RL zone. We posted a sign on the property. We did have a couple informational calls regarding this request once the sign was posted and letters mailed. This is the structure that the business would take place in. The applicant, this was the result of code enforcement action. It was discovered that the site was being used as an auto repair shop, and upon the code enforcement's recommendation, the applicant came to staff and asked for how to remedy the violation. Since the shop was located on a separate parcel from the main house, and rezoning this property in the middle of the RL zone was not really feasible, the applicant was directed, or it was recommended to the applicant, that the home site, which is located directly adjacent to the shop of the applicant, and the shop site be combined as part of a plat. And once the plat is recorded, then the applicant can apply for a major home-based business. And so Mr. Reeves has followed all the corrective actions that were recommended. You will see in your packet that they have supplied a site plan showing the location of the shop as well as where they plan to store the cars that they will be working on. They are seeking relief to to waiver from the maximum number of cars being stored at the site in association with the business, and that's included in your staff report. And so these are photos of the surrounding area and the home site. And this is the site plan that was supplied by the applicant. The plat has been recorded. This is the home site as well as the shop site, and they plan to park the cars towards the back of the property so passersby would not see the cars that were stored outside. And that concludes our presentation.
Do we have anyone here representing this request? If you'll come around, please.
How y'all doing tonight? Me and Connie Reeves at 3962 Morgan Road. We're applying for this major home-based business. I did comply with all the rules, regulations of the Codes Department and the Planning Commission with Mr. Massey and with Melissa at the Codes Department. Everything they asked me to do, I've done it as they asked it. You know, I'm applying for that right to do that business in the business, and I don't think we have an effect on the community. We keep a nice, clean place. All my parking would be in the rear. There's no way to see it unless you drive around the building and go to the back. There's
How many repairs do you is going on there? Like, are you the only mechanic, only worker?
No, I have two other men. Well, my son lives with me, so he lives at the same address, but I officially don't work in the business. I mean, I own it, but I still have a public job too. So, but I'm there every day, you know, to look over and see what's going on. So, I do have a letter of support from all of my neighbors.
Yeah, are you the major responsibility for this since you don't
Yes,
work there?
I'm
Do you
the
supervise it?
I make all the decisions and the supervision of it.
Okay. Do you hire the other two people that are working there? Or are they independent?
No,
they're hired employees.
They're hired employees, yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
I do have a letter of support from my neighbors, and a petition was signed.
Yeah, you can give that over there. Jerry, do you have a question?
Well, I'm looking at the photo we have, and you're saying 15 cars. There's 19 just in this photo.
Sometimes we don't have control over, I don't want to say how many cars is brought in, but on the weekends, there's people that call the wrecker service and their cars broke down, so they send it to us. So it gets put in the back, all the cars are parked in the back.
But we do try to control it to a point.
With this approval, 15's it.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Matter of fact, if I had 4 towed out this week that somebody wasn't going to fix, and I understand the rules, and I'll make them abide by the rules of customers too.
Yeah.
I mean, because we have in process right now. I mean, I'll have to come and get this, but I'm planning on putting steel gates, sliding gates in the front to
So
control
they can
that,
control what
the
comes
whole
in.
situation, that nobody can come unless they have an appointment or make a time set with us to look at their vehicle.
Any other questions? Thank you. You may be seated.
Thanks.
We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request.
My name's Mason Jones. I apologize. Bobby asked me last week if I'd come up here. I called him at 4:15 this afternoon to ask him what time the meeting was. He said 4:30, so I apologize the way I look. I live next door to Bobby. I own a farm next door to Bobby. We run cows and horses on this place. He's a very great neighbor. He runs a really clean business. He fixes a lot of equipment for Eagleville. He fixes a lot of equipment for the county. He fixes a lot of equipment for us farmers and all. So we really appreciate having him there. That's basically all I got to say.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Come on around. Come on. It's all right. Come on. Commissioner Reed, good to see you.
I'm Commissioner Pettis Reed for District 8 out that way. And Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, appreciate this opportunity to come before you to speak for the Reeves and what they mean to that community in that area. Now, we're talking about out in the Eagleville area and that direction out there and what they have meant for several years to the people out there. That is a distance from Murfreesboro, and people, when they have problems, that's where they go to have repairs. And I'm not just talking about just in that area. There are people that are coming from other parts of the county that come due to the quality of their work and what they do. Now, Mr. Reeves come to my farm when he was thinking about this. We sat on my front porch and discussed this, and I told him the important thing about this is what the neighbors around him thought too. And he went the extra effort to talk to all of them to see what they had to have involved in this. And I too also talked to the neighbors out there for him to see what was going on and what the feeling was. Nothing but good comments about what is happening over there in that part of the county. And I think what they returned back to that community is what is very important. You know, this day and time, we're so often leaving our vehicles at mechanics around this area, we never know when it's going to come back. When you leave it there, you get an answer to what's going on and what you have with your equipment. So I'm here this evening speaking on their behalf.
Thank you.
My name's Tony Doss. I live at 4220 Morgan Road. My mother lives out there, my son. I don't know any reason that anybody would have a problem with their shop. It's clean. Their house and that shop is landscaped and kept cleaner than probably any house on the road just about. The cars are kept around back. I've never seen junk cars or any noise or any kind of problems out there. So I don't know anybody that wouldn't support them having this shop.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? We'll close the public hearing. To have a motion on it.
I move to approve.
Have a motion to be approved. Have a second.
I'll second it.
Call the roll, please.
Veronica Buchanan,
Yes.
Joe Machado,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Michael Rather,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. We have anything else coming before the Board of Zoning Appeals?
No, sir.
What do you know? We're through. We are adjourned. Thank you all for being here.